Hi everyone, beautiful fall day today. We just finished week 47 of reading through our Bible in 1 year, and only 5 more weeks to go. I can't believe it. We finished Ezekiel, we've read the book of James, went into First Peter, we read Psalms and Proverbs, and for me there was a definite theme throughout the verses that I read this week, and that was a theme of obeying God and our deeds. And can you imagine if someone came up to you and asked you, hey, can you give me directions to the library? And you said, yeah, the library's just down the road to the right. And they said, okay, thanks. And then they turned left and walked away the other direction. You'd be thinking, what the heck? But that's sometimes how we behave with God. You know, we say, God, yeah, what do you want for my life? And then we will learn his will. We're like, okay, thanks. But we do our own thing. And this is what the verses that I journaled on. A lot of James is talking about how if we have faith in God, we will produce deeds. And so the product of faith is deeds. And the scripture I wrote on journaled was James 2:17. So you see, faith by itself isn't enough unless it produces good deeds. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. So if faith does not produce good deeds, it is dead and useless. So it is not really faith. And then again in James 2:26, it says, just as the body is dead without breath, so faith is dead without good works. And there's some powerful verses. And then the next one from James is James 4:17. Remember, it is sin to know what you ought to do and not to do it. You know, I think a lot of times we think of sin as just the bad things that we shouldn't do, but it is also the good that we should do and we don't do. You know, Jesus' 2 commandments that he gave us that are the most important are love God and love other people. And yet I see so many people say, yeah, I love God, but don't like Christian people. You know, how can you say that? That is God's children and he is in them. So really, you need to love them as well. And then the last one is Psalm 119, verse 1 and 2. It says, joyful are people of integrity who follow the instructions of the Lord. Joyful are those who obey his laws and search for him with all their heart. God brings us joy when we follow him, and he fills our heart with joy because his ways are the best ways for our lives. We see that in Ezekiel. You know, the people were in captivity because they disobeyed God. They did their own thing, and it turned out really bad. But at the end of Ezekiel, there's this promise of God, I'm going to bring you back. But these are the rules that I want you to live by because that protects you and that keeps you safe. And so, yeah, just want to encourage you that is your faith living out in your deeds? Is it shown in your deeds, in the way you love people and love one another and love God? Okay, continue on, and we'll talk to you next week.